Hi gang, welcome back to the channel. I wish I had a better vacuum. I did a pretty good job, but of course it always leaves dust in places. But if you have Lego on display, you have to expect you're gonna have some dust. This is my dad's lighthouse that I got him a couple years ago for Christmas because he loves lighthouses. I don't remember how many pieces it is, but I do know it's $300. So it's a very expensive set, but it comes with two lights and a motion kit, and so that brings the price up quite a bit. But it's very beautiful. I love how just white and sleek this is right here, how smooth it is. It also has the little cabin in the front, and this is called Aurora's Point. So let's take a look at all of it. I did help him build it, so I know the intricate details of it. So let's take a look at this beautiful lighthouse. So first we'll look at the base. This is made on a blue base plate, but not just any blue base plate. This is the first time we got a dark blue base plate. It was made especially for this set, and it is a beautiful dark base plate. I think it's a good choice that they had a dark base plate. I don't think that the light blue base plate would look as good with this set. So as you can see, we have this lovely rock work all the way around with these clear tile pieces and cheese slopes and all of that, making it look like the waves are crashing up against the rock. You can also see how my vacuum did not get all the dust off of all these little pieces. I need a better one. But very pretty. We also have an anchor right here, just abandoned right there. I have a little patch of sand right there. And then we do have this lovely boat here, docked at the dock that goes up to the cabin. Go. This is right there is just a plain white boat with a sticker piece. There's a little bucket in here. There's a little gray kitty, maybe. There we go. And then there is a lady rowing the boat, and she has a compass next to her. I don't know if she has an alternate face. I don't remember that. She does not. It's just that face. But I love that hat. That's really neat. And then it just sits here loosely. So you would tie it to the dock and it would sit loosely. And because of how the boat is, you couldn't clamp it down to the water. So I just found a dark blue 1x4 plate and stuck it to the bottom so I could clamp the boat down so it wouldn't constantly be sliding off of the plate. And over here we have this cool little dock area that has this walkway up here, which is very neat. There's a little bucket with a fish in it. There's a little seagull hanging out right there. The seagull is like a rubber seagull, not like the plastic piece, Lego piece. It's like a rubber. It looks really cool. There we go, it'll focus on it there. As you can see, very rubber. And because it is rubber, it does not attach very well. Yeah. It doesn't have clutch power. That's what it doesn't have. Oh, and then I forgot to show you, of course, with it having lights and a motion in here, it has to have a battery box. The battery box is actually built into the base of this structure. And to get to it to change out the batteries, you take this panel off. Just like so. Unscrew those 4 screws and you can get to your battery box to replace the batteries. The battery box is dark gray, so it blends in with the rock work, but then this also covers it so you can barely see where it is. Right there's the little smooth pieces. So I love that little detail that they made it accessible to be able to change it, but also hid it so you could not see it. There's also a little cave area here that you can't really see into because it's so dark, but there is a treasure chest hidden inside that cave with a bunch of jewels. And I mean a lot of jewels. There's a lot of them. There's 2 of each color. Green, yellow, red, and blue. And they all fit into this little brown trunk. Treasure chest. Close it up. It has a piece of greenery on it to kind of keep it a little disguised. And there is a clip in here. Gotta slide it back into that clip. There. I heard the click. As you go up the steps here with this railing right here, you come to the top of this little rock area where the cabin is and the bottom of the lighthouse. Here is the captain here in all blue. Come on, there we go. Has a little bit of detail on the torso, and that's about it, honestly. The rest of it's all blue. The hat's pretty cool, no ulterior face, and this is supposed to represent a telescope. I like how we have this sand green here. I feel like if there was like a regular bright green, it would contrast the blue down here. So I like that was a really good choice. It goes all the way around up to the lighthouse. And you can turn this all around and you see this little black cord there. That is coming from the battery box. It goes into the cabin and then up into the lighthouse, and it is hidden back there. So you don't really want to display the back of the lighthouse anyway. But and we have where the fireplace would be at. Twist it around to the front. I love how it has these little ingots here to give it like a brick built design. We have Aurora's point up here, and we have a little lantern there. I like the pop of color with the red roof. We can actually take this off. The nice little red roof gives it a good pop of color. I do enjoy that. Oh, that's not down all the way. There we go. And then also the white helps it blend in with the lighthouse as well. Makes it all go together. Really neat. And this is a little cutout in the top of the roof because, of course, this cabin is sitting right up against the lighthouse back here, as you can see. It's kind of hard to see inside the cabin, but we will attempt it. First off, you can see that this door does open. It is a green door that does open. We're going to close it so that we can kind of see inside. So it's going to be very tight and you may not be able to see everything, but we'll try. It'll also probably be blurry because it doesn't really want to focus that well because there's so much to look at inside of this cabin. They packed a lot of details in here. First off, you can see here what I was talking about with the roof having to make way for the lighthouse. The lighthouse is literally sitting on the tile piece for the top of the roof. We have a little fish right here. It's actually supposed to be like that. There we go. I believe this is a picture of a family outside of a lighthouse, and that picture is actually representing the guy who this is the idea set. The guy who actually made this set, that is a representation of him and his family would go look at lighthouses. That's pretty neat. We have a bed right there with white and blue kind of patchwork, a little candle lantern right there, a little broom hanging up there behind the door, and then a lot of the detail is over here, which is pretty cool. And as I said, it's going to be very hard to focus. There's a little teapot. It looks like a map. A little inkwell. The clock. Some wood. There's some cheese and some wine up there on the top, but we're going to ignore that. There's a wood cache right there next to the little fire stove top. Some cookingware on top of it and the tea kettle. And now you can see the body of the lighthouse here. It's above the cabin. As you can see, it does actually taper up. So this piece down here, wider, and then thinner, and thinner, and gets a little bit thinner as it goes up. We have a little bit of rock work coming up the side here. There's a little bit of greenery. Nice little tan going around the entire bottom of the lighthouse right there. Sorry, that's way down there. And then it's just white the rest of the way up. It does have these cool little windows though, all the way up. The top one does not have a little awning or whatever it's called, sorry, a window frame over the top of it. Oh, that's because it's starting to run out of space because it can only go so tall. I forget how tall this lighthouse is. I need to get a measuring stick or find the instructions. You have a little bit more greenery on the side over here. There's a couple open studs for if you wanted to add more greenery, but I think it looks good the way it is. The front one does actually have the wheel well, so I don't know why the back one doesn't. I just realized that. I think it's because it's built different. It doesn't have the plate right here stops. This plate back here goes all the way across. But still, could have added one. Oh well. And then it's basically symmetrical all the way around, which is pretty neat. There is a hidden detail in the back of this lighthouse though. Scoot it back some so you can see. Though, if you wish to look in this lighthouse, because there are some details in this lighthouse, it actually comes apart like so. So all four of those panels come off so you can see inside and see the little ladder workup detail, and there's a couple more other details. I'll look at them in a second, but you can see what I mean by wide, slightly smaller, and then the little bitty one, which is a lot tinier than the big one at the bottom. So once again, this will be difficult, especially because it is dark inside of here. It is very shadowy. Maybe if I take off this, it'll add a little bit more light, and just a little. You can actually see where there is a doorway between the cabin and the lighthouse. And then we have this ladder work that goes up. It actually tells you to leave the ladders like this. But I kind of like the aspect of them sticking out. And my dad did too, so that is what we did. I think it actually looks really neat like that. We do have a, I don't know how well you can see it. Maybe I can get it off. There's a fireman's axe right there. That's really neat. It's the first time I've seen that piece. I thought that was pretty cool. Now the difficult part is getting it back in. There we go. And then we can just go up. You can see here kind of the little motion that's going to be used for turning the top of the lighthouse. Go all the way up like so. And then over here there's nothing, and then there's a picture, but we can't hardly see the picture. I don't know why they stuck a picture in here. You can barely see it, and I don't know if I can get it off and back on, so I'm sorry, I'm gonna leave it like that. You can kind of see it's an old picture. And there's a wrench right there, or a crowbar. Not a crowbar. That's not a crowbar. That is a wrench. Whatever. The lighting mechanism is hidden in the wall the entire way up. And then it pops out on this level and goes up in here because there's not very much space in this wall to hide it and to do brick at the same time. So, and then of course it's very simple to put the panels back on. You actually don't need to put them on from top to bottom or anything because they are held on by these snot bricks. So you could put this one on right there and have the other ones all empty if you wanted. If you wanted to like display it the other way. But there we go. It's all complete lighthouse. Now take a look at the top of the lighthouse. Looks pretty neat, even from a lower angle like this. I'll show you an above angle in a second. But I thought it was pretty neat like this. It has flexi tubing going all the way around for the railing. And this cool little black plate piece that we put there that you make, whatever. I forgot the word is I'm looking for. And then we have this clear piece here is actually the garage door element. It's knotted in a couple different places to keep that circular shape. Very neat. And then we have an actual sword. Saber sword. Come on. I want to look at the saber sword. There we go. The saber sword for the top of the lighthouse. So I thought that was a pretty cool detail to give it a little point. Now, there we go. But I'll say I can very carefully take this off, but you do have to be careful. So it is actually snotted in on the top and the bottoms to keep it that circular shape. But of course you gotta be careful you don't bust them apart from each other. And then up here you can see the mechanism here. This is actually a special made piece that LEGO worked very hard to figure out just the right kind of piece to give it that light effect like an actual lighthouse. So that's a very special piece, and only comes in this set as far as I know. I have not seen it released in any other sets. And then there's a bunch of gear work up here that I'll show you in just a second. But another aspect that you can see from the lower setting is actually this right here. There's a little door here for the lighthouse keeper to come in and work on it. That was a cool aspect to add. You wouldn't think that they would remember to add that, but they did, so that's pretty neat. Here's another look at that door. It's just this little clear, gold piece. Pop it out and they can walk in, but of course there's not really room for them to walk in. Top of it's not really made to minifigure scale, unfortunately. But you can see there all the gears used for rotating, and you can see that lens feature where the light will come out. The light is inside of there. This right here is the gear feature that we saw running all the way up the top of the lighthouse. Goes right here, goes to this gear here to turn this. You have to very carefully put this back on like so, and there is an above look of the lighthouse. And now I will show you the lighting function. There's actually a switch right here that you just push down and it turns everything on. So first off, there is actually a light inside of the lighthouse keeper's house. It's in the stove. That is so cool. I love that they add that aspect as well as the actual light for the lighthouse. So then we can come up here. There it is. So beautiful. Get twisted around. Look at it. Of course it's moving in all directions, but right there you can see the gear is turning to turn that, and the light mechanism is inside. It is honestly actually very bright too. If I turn off the lights, it's a pretty bright light, but there's also daylight coming through my window, so you won't be able to see it too well, but we'll try. It's actually working better than I thought it would. Ow! It's a very bright light. It is very cool. I think this is actually the only light functioning LEGO set that we have in our family. And it's very neat. Oh, and you can see the cabin better in the dark. The light is coming through the windows and through the door opening. It looks so cool. I also love how with the use of the tile work that is in front of the light that is down here, it's a different color. So it actually makes it look like a fire burning stove. So I pulled up the information for this lighthouse. It is of course an 18+ set. It is an idea set. It has 2,065 pieces. So a pretty big piece count. It came out in 2022. And it is set 21335, and it is not yet retired. More likely when it does retire, it will become a lot more expensive. So if you love lighthouses, I would suggest getting it now. I know it's $300, but I saved up for it because I knew that my dad would really, really love to have this because he loves lighthouses. Just as the person who made this set for the Ideas collection, we used to go around and look at lighthouses when I was a kid, so I felt like this would be a really cool gift to give him. But honestly, with all that even now in the way, the build of this, the look of this is easily probably my favorite LEGO display that we have. It's amazing. It is my favorite one to look at, and I get to see it every day. And I love the fact that it lights up and does all these cool things, and there's memories behind it obviously as well. So I got to build it with my dad over the Christmas break that I had right after I gave it to him. So a lot of cool memories with this, and I think it is honestly the best set we probably have display wise. Of course, with it being on a base plate, it is 10 by 10 on the bottom, but it stands, let me double check because I just read it and I forgot, 21.5 inches tall. Even though it's a $300 set, if you love lighthouses, this is definitely the set I would get. Out of all the LEGO lighthouses they've done, this one is honestly the best one, and definitely is. Which most of the ones they've made are 3-in-1s from back in the day, and they didn't look as good for sure as this one does. This one looks amazing. There's also the Scooby-Doo Lighthouse one, but that one's not even complete, nor does it have a light function. Like, it doesn't have, it's a hollow back. Well, this one is honestly very beautiful. This one is also a hard to find set. You don't honestly see this in stores. At least I haven't, and everyone I've talked to about this set has not seen it in any stores near here. Walmart, Target, places like that do not sell this set. There's one LEGO store kind of near me, and I've never even seen it there. It's a really hard set to find. You can really only buy it on the LEGO site. So if you want to get it, I would suggest waiting for like double points or something, or like a really good gift with purchase, and buying it, because it is honestly amazing. Definitely recommend. I'm sorry it's $300. I'm sorry it was too, because that was a lot of money. But it's honestly really worth it. So I hope you all enjoyed. Go build Lego. Let God. Bye everybody.